Hello, my name is Trinity Whitmer, and I am presenting a persuasive speech that is titled Implementing a 4-Day Workweek. My thesis statement says, implementing a 4-day workweek increases company productivity and reduces stress and encourages employee retention. Everybody knows that there is a basic Monday through Friday 9 to 5 schedule, which sure, for a lot of people, that is a great schedule, and I have the same schedule myself, except for mine's is 8 to 5, and then I have a break, an hour break in between from 12 to 1 o'clock. However, it also takes me about 25 to 45 minutes in order to get to work, and if you include that time, transportation time, plus the 9 hours that you're actually there, even though you're having an hour-long break, and then the additional time that it takes to get back to the house, it's probably around 10 hours a day that you're working. So that's almost 50% of a 24-hour period, Monday through Friday, which is 5 days a week. And then in regards to that, you only have 48 hours to yourself, which is essentially just utilized in order to complete tasks like laundry, washing dishes, shopping, things like going to the dentist office like I do. I go to the dentist office on Saturdays because I can't go Monday through Friday since I'm working. So it just takes up a lot of my free time, and I don't really have personal time to myself in order to actually relax before Monday through Friday starts all over again. So basically I did some research, and it is so outdated, and like the 8-hour work weeks, they're no longer realistic like with our current society. So in Forbes, the article, it says why the 8-hour work day doesn't work anymore is because it's not effective, it's outdated, it has a lot of burnout. And during the pandemic in 2019/2020 really, remote work was made available to people who couldn't work during COVID at the office because they were quarantined. So if that was a possibility this entirety of the time, why isn't it possible for us to have a 4-day work week? You know what I'm saying? Like, my train of thought, especially considering from that created hybrid work schedules, which are like 2 days at home and 3 days at work in the office. So if those are things that can be created from the pandemic, should also be created with a 4-day work week. It says 80% of work in America survey respondents saying they believe they would be happier and just as effective with a 4-day work week. But there's also other statistics that I have also researched, like for example, Actiplans by Erica Bailey, an article that she wrote said 77% of workers reported increased productivity with working a 4-day work week, and 58% said that they would prefer to go to a 4-day work week as opposed to a pay raise, which is over 50%. 58% of the respondents stated that they would prefer a 4-day work week over a pay raise, which is essentially more than half of society would prefer a 4-day work week. And there's other countries that are also transitioning to a 4-day work week. If you've heard in the media recently, Japan has transitioned to a 4-day work week in order to combat their birth rates. So just so we know, the CDC also says that the US fertility rate is dropping to historic lows as well. For example, the reports show a 2% decline in 2022, whereas from 2022 to 2023, it says that 3,591,328 births recorded in 2023 total. So only 3 million births in the United States total was in 2023. And sure, 3 million people is a lot, like babies is a lot. In regards to the entire country, 3 million is not that much if you put into that kind of perspective. So the US birth rates are also falling too, but I provided this picture because in Japan, their birth rates are so low due to high stress in like their society of working constantly, that elders are enamored with babies, so much so that if you come into like a public restaurant and you have a baby, more than likely an elder is going to come up to you, ask you to hold the baby, and then go around the restaurant and show off the baby to all the other elders because of how little and how rare it is to see a baby in Japan. So with that being said, since our birth rates are falling and their birth rates are also historically low, they decided to transition to a 4-day work week. We should also do the same. What are things that we can do? Obviously, you can unionize, you can vote in legislation, but there's also a petition that I provided a link to that you can use. Thank you for listening.